this fast-paced world, we are constantly on the move. Success is linked to productivity, like that we have to get all our calendar hourly filled up. In today's episode, we would talk about going back to the natural rhythm of what you are meant to be, accelerating your happiness, health, how you feel about yourself, your mental health through the art of slowing down. Are Filipinos truly bilingual? We use the same language at home but speak in love languages foreign to each other, together but separated. Kamusta? I'm Roanne, licensed psychotherapist, mom, immigrant twice, first generation Pinoy raising my mixed Filipino-American children in America. I found that after visiting 500 Filipino homes, I continue to be a student of the culture. In this podcast, we would be seatmates in this beautiful cultural classroom. And by the way, did I tell you I need my kapeng barako straight from Batangas before each class? If you're interested in learning the deep intricacies of the Filipino culture, especially as it merged with American culture, talks about trauma-informed care and deepening your Filipino relationships across generations, which includes my fave topic, Pinoy love languages, you're in the right place. This episode is brought to you by Story Therapy. This is therapy and coaching blended together that hugs neuroscience, creativity, and honoring the wisdom of your body to heal. It's a 3-month framework that includes 10 one-on-one sessions with me. To check out if we're a good fit, see the link in the show notes for a complimentary consult. Hi everyone, welcome to the Pinoy Love Language podcast. Again, this is your host, Roanne. Does my voice sound a little husky? Usually I record my podcast after lunch when my kids are about to go take a nap. Today, it's about 6 o'clock-ish in the morning. So, I hope you are enjoying my husky voice. Going back to the art of slowing down, how many times have you checked your email, your Facebook, Twitter, or even your cell phone in the last 2 to 3 hours? Are you focused on the task at hand or simply focused to get things done so you can check that square box, right? In conversations, are you engaged or are you constantly thinking about where you need to be or even your response? These days, we are bombarded with everything that leaves us distracted, unfocused. Unfortunately, physically, we're not there. Do you remember the days? I remember when we had corded landline phones, and when you get highly irritated because, say, you're chatting with your best friend and your mom yells out in the background, hang up the phone right now before I get there, right? If you try to say this to your kid, your teenager, to kids now, they would be like, hang up where, right? It's true. Everything we need now is within our reach, right? Like you don't know what's the definition of a word, you Google it. There is no need to walk over to the corded phone. Ask who's calling and hang it back on the receiver when the chit-chat is over. We don't have to do that much work. We have grown smarter and way more efficient. Or have we really, right? Have we really grown smarter with all of these technology? Now, as a consumer I use Messenger. There's this app called Viber to connect with loved ones in the islands. There's no doubt, especially for Filipinos like me abroad, that technology has positively made connection to our loved ones easier. Back in the day, if you haven't seen someone for 5 years and you pick them up in the airport, right? You're like, oh my gosh, you are so surprised because you haven't seen them, for 5 years. Now, we can use so many apps, Skype, Zoom, Viber, Messenger, right? Let's talk about the pressure to do more. We measure our productivity with how much we have accomplished. for the day, we no longer assess the outcome of our work with just the quality. I mean, how many of you have in your boxes, make sure I have a good day? We don't usually put that in there, or like have fun with our children. Part of how I do my weekly preview is I envision how I'd like to see myself and how I'd like to sense my world and how I want to feel good about it. I actually have tweaked my language for leaning more on the quality of my day. So for instance, rather than just doing boxes of tasks that I need to complete, I would put there, jump on the trampoline with my kids and just have fun. So be it the quality of our playtime with our children, the quality of your conversation with your spouse or your coworker, we certainly are, of course, doing the best that we can, but we might have brought into this productivity radar that being efficient means completion, period. How would your life differ if you can check off pick up clothes in the laundromat on your to-do list, but also have the energy, let's say, to play Monopoly with your 7-year-old son or chit-chat with my partner till your heart's content? I wonder how that would change or shape your day. Now, we know that slowing down, it's good for the mind, our nervous system, the way our body, our minds are geared, is that you probably have been so used to the pressure that you may not even notice how your breathing changes, how your shoulders may be more upright when you're rushing. So when you're doing that, doing your usual rushed day, notice that. And even just by noticing that, you can begin to slow down. You probably noticed that we have a few movies and docu-series on Netflix that are halfway through. Are you like that? I know. I do the same. We are inundated with too many choices. And therefore, our minds are preoccupied with what's next rather than what's here now. It's no surprise that our attention span seems to have gotten shorter and our ability to delay our gratification a challenge. What do these got to do with our happiness? Health, okay? For me, I define happiness as our ability to embrace our imperfections, your imperfections, amidst all the challenges, the scars and childhood, hiccups. It's not the absence of loss, sadness, or disappointments in life, because that's part of being human, but rather it's the ability to befriend these characters, these feelings, these experiences, to build stories of happier endings. It doesn't have to be always happy. When you slow down, either to be present with the loved one or in the process of creating. So you might be just doing your journal or a task at work that may not lead to completion. When you're really just present doing that, you hone your ability to be one with yourself. I have probably mentioned this, tension, depression, anxiety occurs when physically our body is in one place, but our minds are somewhere else. When you're constantly thinking about the past, how things should have been, that causes the depression. It's past oriented. And when you're thinking about the future, what could happen, what if, you're constantly thinking about the future, but in a negative sense, that's anxiety. When you're able to align yourself in the present, your body and your mind, that's when you have happier endings. So I'm not talking about just happy. You might interchange the word happy to more balance, to a more accurate experience in the present moment. Slowing down is the mind's workout. You see how I use workout as slowing down? And I say that because we think that we have to be constantly on the move. And so perhaps changing the word working out because some people might think slowing down is doing nothing, but slowing down it's the mind's workout. Our physical bodies need the motion, while the mind needs to be in attention. So let me repeat that. Our physical bodies need the motion, while the mind needs to be in attention. It's human nature to avoid pain, but learning to delay your gratification means understanding that some of the best movies don't always begin with the best or the most picturesque scenes. But who knows, if you stay a little bit longer, you might be tuning in to the best picture movie award in the future. Have you ever had that experience? Maybe you're watching a Korean soap, a telenovela, where you're giving it a chance, the first 2 episodes, to decide whether you're going to stick with it, right? Your happiness health relies on you, and the understanding that your own personal history, your needs, wants, strengths, and weaknesses are all crucial elements to embodying the art of slowing down. Now, when I return, we'll talk more about, this process of slowing down. So, stick around. Diyan ka lang. This episode is brought to you by Story Therapy. This is therapy and coaching blended together that hugs neuroscience, creativity, and honoring the wisdom of your body to heal. It's a 3-month framework that includes 10 one-on-one sessions with me. To check out if we're a good fit, see the link in the show notes for a complimentary consult. Don't forget that the 5 Pinoy Love Language ebook is available now. This ebook is easy to digest but gives you an understanding of the unique ways Filipinos express love, deepening your cultural identity and understanding, but ultimately understanding you in your Filipinx relationship. Check out the links in the show notes. Thanks for sticking with me. Believe it or not, I like to be productive. I like to organize my day. I have a board where I put sticky notepads so that I have a framework of what's happening. We're not blasting that type of organization. I think for me, it helps me because I know there is a place for everything. And when you just prepare enough for flexibility rather than out of fear that something might happen. So 2 different things. It looks like 2 people are doing the same thing, but that depends really on the intention and why you're doing it. Almost all, if not everything that is fear-driven results to something different as when you are, for instance, preparing because you want to enjoy more that ingredients of life, right? Being overwhelmed, myself, I do get overwhelmed. I have young children. I've learned that being present and slowing down are really the best use of my time. And I really continue to organize my schedule, and I found a system that really works for me. But I've learned that through trial and error. So my question to you, do you have a system that works for you? A system where it allows you flexibility. That's the line that you might want to be aware of. If you have a system, but it's really any deviation to that system is causing you a lot of stress, take note of that. A system is meant to make things more fluid, less stress for you. And so when you are stressing out, it's possible it's the system, but more than likely, the intention around it might be fear-based. My recommendation is not to stop chasing your dreams or tackle tasks that must be done, but rather I simply want you to include activities that entail playful moments and intent memory building with your loved ones as part of your productive day. Slow down and continue to chase your dreams and your joy ferociously would be my recommendation. I guess we'll talk about just 3 tips on how to slow down. Maybe, and you can tweak this because you know your system, your body the most. First is to have an organization of how you want your week to look like. And as I mentioned, insert boxes there where even in one day, you have like playful moments. For instance, walk alone or play with my dog for 10 minutes. You want to be intentional. As they say, if you don't have an agenda, you become somebody else's agenda. So have that agenda and treat that as an appointment. Now, imagine we're constantly missing our appointments with ourselves. So we're always attending our appointments, let's say with the doctor, we're there on time, Zoom with the boss. But then when we have appointments with ourselves, meaning we are aligned as far as our body and our mind, we miss that appointment. We are elsewhere. Imagine how you would feel bad missing an appointment. We should feel bad in that way, not in a negative way, but that it helps us to reel ourselves to what is more important, which is being in line and being in the flow with ourselves, slowing down. That's just the first recommendation, is to have a framework for your week and include playful moments once a day, or for some people, maybe twice a day, just 5 minutes. Second is to be mindful of things that you say yes to. Sometimes when you say no, we hear this often. When we say no, we actually are maybe saying not yet, And I say that because some people feel bad saying no. So you could tweak your language. Not yet. If someone invites you, you can schedule it for another week if you can't make a date with a girlfriend. Also, to be reminded that sometimes when you say no, you are saying yes to other things. That also is under the category. If you don't have a framework, you might keep saying yes to other people because you are in their agenda rather than you have your own agenda. So you might get lost in that. And the last one is to find an outlet where you can express yourself. Creativity. I am a therapist, that I'm a creative therapist. And what that simply means is not that I'm artistic. I can't really draw. But you can paint or you can scribble. There's a lot of things that you can do. You can collage. There are many outlets beyond just language and talking. And why that's important is because in the Western world, we're so much into evidences, nonfiction, even curriculums in school for children, so focus on nonfiction. It's very left brain, if you will. The right brain is more our feminine side. Now, I'm not talking about just females. Males and females have, according to Carl Jung, anima and animus, which is our female and male energies. This is not just for females, but when you're cultivating a creative expression, you would be able to see things that you cannot just by anything linear, just using words. If you are just looking at evidences, right? If you are doing that type of work, you want to balance that. So let me just recap. Sometimes I do the podcast without notes and I'm just talking like I'm talking to a friend. So the first one, let me see if I could remember this, is to have a framework for your week. Include boxes of pleasurable moments, delight, where you can stimulate that. And second is when you have a framework, then you know which ones you would say yes or no to. And when you say no, maybe it's just not yet, or simply it's just a no. And third is to have a creative outlet so that you can express yourself beyond words, and it's really stimulating that right brain energy of expression, of being creative, that feminine side of us. And we all have it, like I said, male and female. So slowing down is the way to actually go fast. This is the art of slowing down. It's good for your body, good for your soul. And if you are a parent, a boss, when you cultivate this, when you embody this, when you are this, you show people that are looking up to you. Whether you're the boss, right? Or you're the parent to also follow suit. So slowing down is actually going fast. I'm going to leave you with that. I thank you so much for hanging out with me. Again, this is your host, Roanne. Sa uulitin. Salamat!